What's up, guys? It is Sam here, and I wanted to talk about two things. As the title suggests, how much money I made from YouTube in my first 3 months, as well as the growth of the channel. So far, if you just want to get to it, I made $68. But I wanted to talk about where this all came from and the progress of the channel. So, with that being said, let's get into it. In the I think it was the spring of 2013, my brother Gabe showed me these guys on YouTube that were making videos, and they were getting free products and they were making some money from something else. And I thought that was very intriguing. So we decided to start this channel, and it was mainly around fitness. That's why the URL is Stolt Fitness. As far as I know, and I haven't looked into it, but I'm not able to just change it to something else. That was when you used to be able to pick what URL you could have for your channel. Now, in April of 2013 is when we started the channel, and the content creation was very sporadic throughout the number of years. My brother passed away shortly after that, and I was the one who was mainly making the content, so I just took over everything. And it was only when I would be in town that we might make a video together or something like that. So, excuse me, fast forward to the fall of 2018, and there'd been about 5 years worth of very sporadic video content being published. Nothing consistent. If you look at consistency on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis, or even quarterly basis, or semi-annual for that matter. But on a yearly basis, it was consistently putting out content. Not a lot, but it would be, for the year, put out a decent, some number of videos, right? And then if you broke it down, the totality of all those videos would be like in 2 months. And then there'd be like 6 months of fucking no videos, or 7 months of no videos, then there'd be some more videos. Or something along those lines, where there'd maybe like 7 to 8 videos, and then there'd be no videos for 2 months, and then there'd be a video, and then there would be more videos for several more months. And that's how it was for about 5 years. And then in October of 2018, I believe I was really high, and I decided while I was taking a hit that that's not the way I was living my life, is not how I wanted to continue to live my life, which meant that I need to make changes. I wanted to live a completely different lifestyle than what a lot of the population thinks is normal. And I want to just do everything online and make all my money through the internet and not do it in person. And be able to have the geographic freedom to go where I want to go, live where I want to live, work when I want to work, see the people that I want to see. And my thought was that I will use YouTube as a platform to facilitate that. And I went through and figured out what my minimum amount I needed to live off of, right? That's for like rent and all this other stuff. And that factors in the rent currently here, where I pay about $1,000 a month. However, I can get an Airbnb for a month in almost any city around the world for quite a bit less than 1 month. And everything is included in that. So I left the housing costs about the same. And I will have to start paying for health insurance, so I factored in $500. Well, this was, halfway into it, but factored in $500 for health insurance, and I'm below $2,500 a month, probably like $2,200 or something like that. So I rounded up to 3,000, and I figure about $100 a day. Where my thought process was, I will use YouTube for about $2,000 of that, and the rest will come from other things. So I took where I was, right? I'd been putting out very sporadic content, so I had some base level of views and minutes watched, but I'm going to give you the last 3 months before starting what those months were. In the month of August 2018, I had 5,700 minutes watched. In the month of September, I had 5,000. In the month of October 2018, I had 4,600. So I was in a downward trend from the 3 months prior to that. And that, at the end of October, the beginning of November, is when I decided to go all in and really commit to living this lifestyle that I want to live. I do think that there's a tremendous more opportunity for me to increase the output and the quality of the content I do put out, and the variety too. I think there's a lot put out, a decent amount of variety, but I think there's more opportunity for even more variety. But anyways, you guys can let me know what you think down below in the comments. So for the entire year, to give perspective, for the entire year of 2018, I had 122,000 minutes watched, roughly. In the month of December 2018, so basically I had November and December to ramp things up, right? In the month of December, I had over 41,000 minutes watched. So over 33% of all the minutes watched in the entire year happened in 1 month. And my channel is not a holiday channel where you would see those type of spikes. Actually, fitness tends to be lower in November and December for my channel, which a lot of the content was originally about fitness, so that's why it was lower. Around the holidays and Christmas, that's not something on people's minds, whereas the last couple days of December and the month of January and February tend to be very, very good. So that was tremendous to have 33%. Now, when we get into today, like last week, I had over 30,000 minutes watched in 1 week, to give perspective on how quickly things have been growing. Now, talking about that growth, I knew where I started, right? I started at about 4,500, 4,600 for the month of October. So I took that on a weekly basis, and I figured to make $2,000 based on some type of CPM, how many views and the watch time, right? And like what those numbers were at that moment. What do I think I would need in terms of minutes watched in order to be able to have $2,000 a month coming in from YouTube? And the number that I came up with was 250,000 per week, or 1 million minutes watched per month. Now, I know the beginning point, right, at the end of October, and I know where I'd like to go. Arbitrarily, I gave myself about a year and a half. I think it was, I have it up here, 74 weeks until the end of March in 2020. And why the end of March? Well, basically that's when I get my bonus, so get the bonus piece, right? Anyways, and I've been tracking the results. So now I have this number where I'm starting, where I'm going, and then you can extrapolate linearly the difference between those two. And that growth rate that I would need to hit, given the time period that I wanted to hit it in, would be 7.82% growth on a weekly basis. So about an 8% growth rate on a weekly basis, which is absolutely insane when you think about that in over a long period of time. To have a weekly growth rate of 8% week after week after week, 1 week, right? That's not that bad. But to have that for a year and a half straight of 8% growth every single week for the year and a half. That's a very tall achievement. So for the first 10 weeks or so, I was like more than double that growth rate. And now there's been a couple slower spots and that kind of thing, but over time it just continues to grow. Until this past week, I finished with over 30,000 minutes watched in a single week. And I'm given those numbers and then what I forecasted originally, I'm already hitting my numbers for mid-September, and we are in the beginning of June. So I am about 3.5 months ahead of schedule. So between now and the next 105 days, roughly, I would like to actually extend that lead to 4.5 or 5.5 months, so that by the end of September, I could potentially be hitting my objective that was a year and a half out, right? And I'll just show you right here. This is actually how I put together the spreadsheet. So basically any growth rate, there's the 7.82%. That's what I needed to hit, right? So basically any growth rate, this is the growth rate column. Any growth rate that is above 7.82% turns green. Any growth rate between 0 and 7.82% turns yellow, right? So you see some red here. Red indicates a negative number. That means it's below 0 growth. So if you come down here over the last 3 weeks, it's been positive growth, which is amazing, right? Like, that's awesome. By the way, thumbs up. You know what to do. Press that thumbs up button. Does help the channel out. So here and here I got close, a little bit over 6% growth week over week, but there was a 15% drop from that number. So we're going to just continue along this journey. And if you want to follow along and be getting to this $3,000 a month from online sources and the psychology of how to think about leaving a job or just doing this online, make sure you press that subscribe button. I put out content every single day or every single week, and I'm constantly testing out new things to see how quickly I'm able to achieve that. I think I have some nice ideas for the month of June that I've been slacking on that will hopefully be able to ramp up the growth rate even better. If you look at just the month of May, it would look like it was flat. Starting the month that ended May 4th, I had 31,700 minutes watched, and I finished the month with 30,500. So in the entire month, I've actually basically stayed flat or dropped a little bit. So I would like to, it would be nice to hit 40 or 50 for the month of June, but we'll see how it plays out. By the way, if you find this video helpful in any way, share it with somebody so that hopefully this can help them out and they can get some type of value out of that. Now, probably one of the reasons why everybody did click on this video, as I mentioned in the beginning, I have made $68 and where is the number? I have made a total of $68.94 from YouTube over the past 3 months. So one of the ways to make money off of YouTube, I'm not including anything that's affiliated or free products in this. This is just strictly the money from YouTube. So in the month of February, I reached the requirements needed, which you have to have 1,000 subscribers and over 4,000 hours of watch time within the previous 12 months in order to monetize, in order to apply for the monetization program. That happened at the last week of February. By around the 10th of March, I had gotten approved. Between the 10th of March and the end of March, I made $14.51. So you would expect that in the month of April that those numbers would increase because it would have been monetized for 30 days versus 20 days, excluding any type of growth above and beyond that. So then for the month of May, I made $31.90 from YouTube. I will talk about some of the other numbers in a minute, but $31.90. So given that April, I made I had the increase in the total number of days, right? March had 20 days you could make money on. April had 30, and then in May I had 31. So there's one additional day, but the amount of increase from April to May was 42%, from $22.47 to $31.90. So a 42% increase month over month, which is pretty substantial. I look forward to see what those numbers will be in the month of June. One of the little interesting tidbits that I did want to point out was that in the month of April, I had 5 days over, so this is the earnings in the month of April, and I had 5 days that were over $1. If you come through here, you can check what they are and see how many days I had over $1 of earnings. Now, if we come here, right, this is the month of May up here, and we have a total of $31.90. Now, the total peaks of over $1 in the month of May was 16 days, with the previous 7 or so days here all over $1. Where the beginning if you look over here, the beginning 7 days, I think there was 2 days over, here and here. So there was 2 days over $1 in the first 7 days, and in the last 7 days, all 7 days were over $1. So to give a little bit of a recap there, the total amount of days that I made over $1 just from YouTube was like a 3 times increase, right? It went from 5 days to 16 days. So a 3x increase in total days over $1. Now, you were like, well, that could just be from the views. I'm not exactly sure that can explain all of this, because if you look at the views from the month of May versus the month of April, in April I had about 47,000, so a little under 48,000 total views for the month of April. In the month of May, I had just under 53,000 views. So around an 11% increase in total views on the channel. However, the revenue grew at 42%. So some type of the content I'm putting out, either the frequency of the ads is increasing, which is potential. Google does make its money that way, so I would expect that over time Google would probably increase the frequency at which they do show the ads. Another possible explanation could be the increase in CPM, or the cost that advertisers are willing to pay to get into in front of 1,000, show their ad to 1,000 people. So the CPM could be increasing, and that would be more to do with the macro factors of the internet or the marketplace in general, in my opinion. Potentially the more of the business content that I put out, or real estate or money content, some of those could be having some additional ads. So as I build up more of that content, that could help increase it. But I think a large portion of that has to do with the people that are advertising online just keeps growing, which is because it's a marketplace for the ads. It's going to drive it up as more and more people advertise online, making it less and less advantageous. But good from this point of it. So I wanted to keep you guys up to date. If you guys have any questions at all, let me know down below in the comments. If you want to follow along with content like this, I do weekly or monthly updates on the progress of the channel, both from a money standpoint and from how the whole channel is doing. I've reached over 2,000 views in one day, which is amazing. So that still is I'd like to be able to do that, 2,000 views every single day. That will be a nice little achievement, and reaching 100,000 views in a month will be a nice little achievement. I'm not sure when that will happen. You can let me know your predictions down below. If I had to guess for when I would reach 100,000 views, I would say the month of August. I will reach, if I just had to completely guess, right? I would say August. It tends to be a stepping, like you get a shoot up like this in terms of growth, then it levels out briefly, and maybe even drops a little bit, and then you get a shoot up in growth, and then it levels out, and then you get a shoot up. So I feel like another 90 days will be enough to allow that to play out at least one more time, which should, if I can get a little bit of growth during that time, from say 53,000 views to say 65,000, 70,000, then get a nice little pop, which would put me over 100,000. Anyways, let me know what your predictions are down below. Appreciate you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Come over on Instagram and say what's up, and I will get back to you. Peace.